black woman?
How does it feel to not
Black
act like
people,
your own
actually.
race?
Just black culture in general, honestly.
People.
Black culture, because AAVE is definitely
Definitely
was
black
made by
culture.
black people back in the 60s as well.
Mhm.
I'm not like trying to be like rude because but when you were asking Dream to address things, you kept saying people are attacking Kacytron's wig, like dragging Kacytron by her wig. That is very much
For her wig.
Yeah, you said
that's definitely very much AAVE.
Yes, definitely. I don't
everything.
know the
Who got
exact.
the AAVE card?
Let's not use that. That's so
Well,
outdated. But I don't know the origins exactly. But I do know that wig, like the phrase "dragging wig" and shit, like originated back with black like men and black women, just black people in general, and black people in general who did drag, and black people and black queer people especially. And that's really weird for a non-black person to be using wig in that way when you're not black. Yeah.
In what way?
In like
anywhere,
in that context,
honestly.
in that
And
context, like
using it as a slang.
she's
In the
dragging
context
her.
of what?
In the
In the
context
context of you talking as a white
shut the
gay,
fuck up, Sid.
okay, sorry.
Shut up! Oh my god. Okay, in the context of like drag. Oh my gosh, she's Oh my god, wig. Period. Wig. Or in the context of what you said on the stream,
especially when you're arguing with black people, it's very weird.
Can we just go look at the tweet I shared to the space?
It didn't share, but is it the tweet I just sent?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one about him using antiseptic.
Yeah, let's talk about this.
So this is very much
what's
Cortez.
definitely just
This
that.
is very much high.
Wait, is there like a chat that I can see? Sorry, I can't. I don't.
You can if you
scroll to the top,
kind of.
Oh, let me change the name.
Monkey Palace. Come on now.
I'm sorry. I'm a boomer. You guys know that.
Wait, how old are you? How old are you?
I'm old enough to be your father, probably.
Interesting.
Father?
No, I'm not. I'm 20.
Unless you were like a teen dad.
No, I'm 28. I'm 28. It's
definitely
fine.
Not old enough. Definitely not.
Yeah,
definitely not old enough to be.
Unless some
dad.
weird shit was going on, which it's not. I promise. I can't.
Moving on. We can just read the tweet. The tweet.
Yeah, I can just read that. Yeah.
It's the antiseptic
Don't mind me,
one.
just using.
Oh, the antiseptic. That cutie Cinderella is antiseptic.
No.
Like don't mind me just using some antiseptic gel while using AAVE.
And the thing about that.
Oh, right. Okay. So that tweet is referencing a person that tweeted that cutie Cinderella. This whole thing started when people were calling cutie anti-Semitic, right? And some person tweeted and said that cutie was antiseptic, which is just kind of hilarious. So I was like, I'm just gonna.
Does the AV factor in?
I'll explain if you let me. I will explain.
Yeah, y'all stop getting on his ass about it, y'all. I'm joking. Before anyone come about me.
Basically, that I quote retweeted that person, and then it got a bunch of like responses about how I am allowing Casey to use AAV by saying period.
It's not you to allow it because you're white.
Oh my
God.
you
can't allow it either. So
wait.
Well, that's the type of no. I think the concept was that they were suggesting that I was complicit. I guess is more accurate.
Yeah, because Casey
to her using a
I don't think in that stream.
Which hold on, Jesus. Sorry, I actually do have ADHD too, so.
Me too.
Me too. Oh my gosh, twinning.
So.
Ramblex, look at the group chat.
Right. So someone was accusing me of using AAVE, which I hadn't done up until then. So I was like this is peculiar to me because like I didn't say anything. So I'm like, why are they saying so? In a sort of like petty, I was like, you know what? Let's just do like a petty video tweet or whatever, just to like mock the person that said that. And then I said yes, queen, which is a it originates. It's what I said on stream. I don't think I said it in Dream, but in there's sort of like a trickle up version of linguistics, which is basically most of the uh, new words are created by the most marginalized people, which in this case usually are trans women of color. Then that trickles up
right?
to straight black people and gay whites, and then that trickles up to cishet white people, right? That's the generalized notion of what a trickle up version of linguistics is in the United States. Now, it is generally accepted by. I think it is generally accepted by most people that those words are in fact created by marginalized people. I think as fuck, I lost my train of thought. What the fuck was I talking about?
I don't
Trickle up?
know.
Okay.
Linguistics.
Okay, yeah.
Marginalized
Sorry,
people.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I'm
It's
losing
fine.
you.
It's
I
fine.
don't mean
It's
to
fine.
interrupt,
It's really,
Can I
but
say something real
not
quick?
I
Can I
don't.
say
I don't
something
mean
real
to.
quick?
yeah,
Oh, go
Wait,
ahead.
before
Vordy,
you go,
Vordy,
can
I have
I
a
just?
question.
yeah.
The person that you were making fun of for saying antiseptic, were they dyslexic?
Yes.
So,
That was definitely a
Oh,
weird thing to
wait,
say
what?
if they were
Yeah,
dyslexic.
not the best case.
Well,
uh-huh.
I didn't know they were dyslexic, but they did seem to have like the entire. It was a long sort of like tweet, and I think it was two tweets too, which were like perfectly worded, all of it except for the anti-Semitic thing.
Septic.
So it just sounded like really funny to say
Also,
anti-Semitic instead of
I
antiseptic.
don't mean to interrupt, but I pinned another tweet. It's the second one, and it's you saying Yas
Yes,
Queen is
Queen is
not
not
AAVE,
AAVE.
Mm-hmm.
which
Wait, I
16
actually
hours
also
ago.
for I just wanted to say, on the topic of what we were just talking about, I want to know why like your first response to people calling your friends out for like issues that like stuff that happened and people like sharing why certain things that your friends said, like
Mm-hmm.
why it affected them, like why your first response is to make fun of them. I don't. That doesn't make
Okay,
sense to me.
I'll explain. I'll explain why. Okay, the reason why it's because of pseudomoralism. There's this notion that people care about what Casey said in that clip, for example, when she says natives, but it kind of sounds like the N word, and it doesn't kind of sound like the N word. It sounds like she's like
Like
she
it
Yeah,
full
says
on
the
sounds
N
like
word.
the
I don't
N word.
know.
It's like
I don't know
it
if
sounds like she said
Can
nigga.
you
I don't know what you're
It
trying
it
to say
it
right
No, she
does.
said it.
now.
Oh,
She said it.
absolutely. No, no,
Yeah,
no.
if
It
what it
absolutely sounds like that, right? Like I'm not like I have ears. I can hear that it sounds like that. That doesn't mean that she actually said it. Like it
What
I
about
happened
don't
the
mean
other
to
during
ones? There were
interrupt,
two.
people have gotten
but
banned
Whatever.
in the past
so
on Twitch for mishearing. Now back to your question. Um, the reason why my initial response is to make fun of it is because this outrage is driven not by a genuine concern for social justice, but
Says who?
by the fact, says the timing, by the fact that this came a second or like 10 minutes after Casey tweeted something that a certain fandom found questionable about
and I
their
think
favorite.
Okay,
I don't
wait.
mean to
Wait, can
interrupt,
I
but
speak
that's
on
what
this
I
one?
want to
Let me
address.
speak.
That's
Let
what
me
I want to
speak.
talk about.
Wait, can I speak,
That's
Hold on. please?
that's like
Wait, hold
wait,
on.
LJ,
before
LJ,
you
get
go,
into it.
LJ, I just want to say that's what I've been basically talking about like this whole night about how you guys think it's this all like all this outrage about what you and your friends have been saying, like how you think it's coming from a place of trying to deplatform you or from a place of like, oh, you talked about my favorites. No, it's literally all the people that are making angry tweets about you are people of
Mm-hmm.
color and people that have been affected by what you're saying. And the stuff
Mm-hmm.
that's been dug up, maybe it's been dug up because we don't like people aren't fans of kacytron. but maybe it's been dug up. We watched it on Love Our Host. They liked her on Love Our Host. They aren't like avid kacytron viewers, and when the stuff gets dug up, they see it and they're like, oh my god, like I didn't realize, like that's terrible, and they're asking her to address it, and then she's calling them, oh, you Minecraft stands. Like, we're not Minecraft stands,
we're like, no, because
and I think that's just, you guys need to realize not everybody's coming after you. We're coming from a place of, I'm a person of color, and it feels like you don't actually care about people of color until it comes to support your own arguments. And
so let me say something. First of all, I think it's important what you said about people not being kacytron fans, and they see that and they're like, holy shit, like she said the N-word, right? Which is a fair initial response to have. When you go into the stream and the person explains to you that, so it sounded like that, but I'm actually saying natives, and then you guys are consistently asking for an apology about something that and saying that she didn't address it when she said, I am saying natives, not the N-word. It sounds like that. I'm not saying that.
Okay,
you have to understand.
Also to add, there was also like a whole nother clip too of her saying the N-word, and it wasn't just the N-word for that matter. It was her people in the first tweet that she made. She made a tweet, like a thread, and I think I still have it. And it was her being like, "Oh, these Minecraft stands are now trying to cancel me for using," and then she put it in quotes. She said AAVE in quotes as if it wasn't real, and that's like, it's like not just the whole N-word thing, and how like, and it's just not. Everything piles up.
Do you understand the concept of like not knowing what AAVE is?
Okay, yes. But then, for the record, people tried to educate her. People tried to educate her on stream. She looked at the card, which for the record, that card isn't. It's out of date. But people sent her that card, and she looked at the card and called it ridiculous. And what did she say? She said it was
white people. I think.
Not sure. She's acting like
trying to cancel people.
Okay, so looking at that card myself, right? Like when I look at
as a white person,
I see the words like the word sus was on that card, I believe, right? Was the word sus on that card?
Is outdated.
I think so. With the card again.
Okay, so you're holding someone accountable for something that you yourselves cannot like pinpoint on what is or what isn't. Like you might,
yes, we can.
We can.
You might say, hold on.
You're speaking to a space of. Okay, let me speak. You're speaking to a space of Black people, and you're telling them what we don't do and do not know about AAVE, which is what we speak. That's not your place.
No.
Hold on.
I don't know what you're trying to say right now. You sounds like you're saying a lot of words and a lot of nothing.
Can I say something real quick?
You're not listening, man.
Can I say something?
What I'm saying.
Okay, let Froggy speak.
Please.
Let me speak. Oh my god. Okay, so the issue I had. Oh, this is the former point of Amina's that you said. I think the issue with like the whole thing, like everything about what happened with kacytron and what she said about Black people and like not anything negative, but like what she said indirectly about AAVE. Her calling us crazy Minecraft stands, just all of that, and it's so disrespectful and so rude towards us because we are Black people first before we are anything else, and it is tiring and annoying to have people call us crazy Minecraft stands and crazy young girls. Well, not all of us are girls, first of all, and second of all, and
I'm a male.
Yeah, okay, so and it's weird and it's disrespectful because we are humans. We are Black people. We are trying to get someone to stop disrespecting us, and it's hard because all she is doing is calling us crazy Minecraft stands, and her sister is egging her on because I was on her page today because she keeps on appearing on my fucking TL, and it's getting annoying. Actually,
I had her blocked.
You can block people, man.
Yeah, I know.
Can I read something real quick?
Wait, I didn't even finish my point.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Okay.
And it's getting annoying, and and also about the AAVE thing.
Okay.
Shut the fuck up.
About the AA. AAVE thing with Vordie, I know you didn't mean this in the wrong way, probably, but you saying that we can't pinpoint which exact words. Obviously, we can't. We aren't history majors. We don't know everything in the world, but I do know something for certain, and it's that card is value. It's like useful. It has words on there that you should genuinely not use if you're not black, and if you don't,
Right.
and if you don't know the words of AAVE, and you don't know the words that you shouldn't use, then maybe you shouldn't use them at all. If you're questioning if you can use it or not, don't use it just in case. It's that easy. Just that easy. Take it out of your vocabulary.
Right. I just think that as a white woman that Casey is, she it's you guys are in this and you are constantly updating yourselves and knowing things that other people might not have the same ways or resources in learning.
She's a 30-year-old.
Now,
Yes, but when
you
we're
say,
If you have a Twitter, you can figure it out. It's not that hard.
oh yeah, I'm sorry, but not everyone, guys. Okay, I know this seems wild to you, but not everyone is constantly concerning themselves with social issues. People have other issues as well.
Okay, I just wanted to add real quick. For the record, people were trying to. Oh yeah, LJ, you speak, and then I'll go
Thank you.
after.
Oh my god. So, okay, I'm gonna preface this by saying I am a black trans person, so I know what I'm talking about. Just real quick, the point of calling someone out, and the initial reason why people were calling Casey out before this became a big ass thing. The first things we were saying was, "Yo, you are doing this, and that is wrong." That is literally I'll chill. We were spoon feeding her the information that she needed to educate herself and then move on. And she chose to look at the educational information.
Which was the card?
Started. Yeah,
the card.
But even if
the card that you just said is outdated.
Be quiet.
Hold on.
Oh my God! Shut the hell up!
No. I'm still going.
Let LJ speak, please.
Even if the card was not useful, it's called the AAV card. If people are pointing out, even using the card with an attempt to educate her, people are pointing out that AAVE is the specific problem that we were upset about, besides her saying slurs and shit, which that's undeniable. She said the B slur. We are literally.
Which she apologized for.
No.
That doesn't mean anything. Vordie,
It doesn't mean anything.
Hold on.
Apologies.
So apologies don't mean anything.
Vordie,
Got it.
Please let LJ
Shut
finish.
up.
Yeah.
Just let
It's just
LJ
good.
speak.
It's just good to know that apologies don't mean
If you're not
anything.
talking, hold on. Everybody's
Aren't you grown
quiet.
as hell?
If
You
you're
don't
not
know how to have a
talking,
civil conversation.
if you're not talking,
Figure it out.
either mute yourself or leave.
Anyways, we were pointing out the specific problem, and that is undeniable. That Casey saw the card. If she noticed it, she could see the name. It's the AV card. She can look up what is the problem with being white and using AVE. It is not that hard. The problem was pointed out to her, and she chose to ignore it. That is the problem that we're talking about. It got blown out of proportions because she got upset that people were calling her out for doing shit that she did wrong.
Also,
that is the problem.
KJ, LJ, if you're done, let me know when you're done.
I wanted to bring something up
okay,
really
thank
quick,
you.
actually.
Oh, go ahead, Kasia.
I'm good.
Go ahead, Kasia.
So first off, you're talking about we said apologies don't matter. No one ever said that. If you are in an offended minority group, you're not required to accept anyone's apology ever. If someone is saying slurs and you feel like that apology isn't genuine, or if you feel like this person's gonna continue doing what they were doing, you don't have to accept shit from them. Secondly, I don't know if this is what you said or not, but did you say that you didn't use AAVE when people were calling you out?
To add on to the apology thing, I have had multiple Mexican people message me in the last minute since you said that, saying that they didn't accept the apology.
Kasia, I said the apologies don't matter if, and I was about to complete it after, but no one could hear me, so I stopped. But apologies don't matter if you are continuing to disrespect that community, and that's it. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, but
which she did how?
Oh wait, hold on. I just have a question really quickly. Did you before people were calling him out? Is that what I?
Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah, he did. That's what.
Okay, well, if you do a quick search of your username and add period at the end of it, you get searches. So I'm really confused.
I do not. I'm sorry. I do not believe that period is AAV.
Oh my fucking god!
Hold on. You have no right in telling us what that is or not.
hold on. I know period is AAVE for fucking certain, and it is so goddamn obvious.
Where do you think
Period
came
has
from?
been used multiple times
Wait,
by black people for a long time to finish their sentence or win an argument even. And there's proof and there's like evidence. And in my personal experience, my mother uses period a lot to finish a sentence. Point
My
blank,
grandmother
period.
uses
can I
period.
speak?
Or
Can I speak? Can
oh,
I
go
speak?
ahead, go ahead.
I
Go
just
ahead,
want to
Pooh.
know.
Oh, hi.
Hey, I'm here. I'm at work. I'm on break.
Hey, cool.
Don't say my name. I just want to know why you, as a white gay male, think that you have the authority, the business to say, I don't think such and such is Ave. It's not your place. If we tell you it's Ave,
Yeah.
it's Ave. Do not question it. Let me speak. Let me speak. Shut up. Let me speak. I am speaking. It is.
Okay.
You cannot question it. We're telling you something is Ave as black people, because we know this is how we speak every day for years.
Yeah, no, this is our dialect.
You picked it up from other white gays that you've seen on TikTok, Twitter, such and such. You guys didn't grow up speaking like this. You didn't grow up saying this stuff. I
I'm
don't
28.
care.
You
I
think
don't care
everyone's
how old you
TikTok?
are.
You didn't
We're
grow up
grown.
speaking
I
like
think you can
this.
figure this out.
I literally, you're a grown ass man. I'm 19, turning 20 this year. I'm grown too. Anyways, as I was saying, you picked this stuff up from online. You didn't grow up speaking like this. You didn't grow up saying period like we did. My mom says period. She's fucking 50 something. Y'all
I'm actually Greek,
continuously.
so I didn't grow up
Oh
speaking
my
English
fucking
at all.
Jesus,
So that's
dude.
okay.
Okay, so
Okay,
then
oh my
even
god. Grow
even
up
for,
speaking
So you're
English.
Adding to our
AAVE
let me
point,
for people
speak.
who aren't black.
Let me speak. That's furthermore proving our point. You didn't grow up speaking English, so why are you speaking like this? This is a dialect off of English, so why are you speaking how black people speak, Ave?
If you learned
And then
English, you would have learned proper English. How did you learn
right,
Not
like
to
AAVE?
mention,
you
not to
weren't
mention,
learning
let me speak.
AAVE stands for African American Vernacular English.
This is a
Now, you
completely
might-
different type of English. It doesn't follow the same rules, the same anything as normal English you learn in school. This is a completely different thing. This is a dialect. This isn't some fucking slang that you can say whenever because it's hip and trendy. No. Fucking pisses me off that you think you have the authority to say what is and what isn't, and if you can and cannot say no. It's not your place. If someone's
And
telling you to
at the
stop
end of
saying
the day,
shit, don't say it.
Right, and
Also,
you
where do you
might
think period came from? Like, where do you
right,
think
and
that came
again,
from?
Who
this is
started
The
what I'm
word
saying, and this
period.
applies. Yes.
Why
What
would
do you
people just
in
start
that
saying period
context,
out
in
of
the
nowhere?
word,
Shut
in
up.
the
Who do
context,
you
oh
think
my
was
god.
saying period? Like, do you think back in like the 40s, these classy ass white women walk around saying period? Genuine question. Like, do you
Can I
think
get
that's
a cup of
true?
tea? Period. Bring your stomach.
Governor, may I have a glass of alcohol, please? Period.
Period.
Oh,
Period.
Like, it's weird to me, and I don't. And that's the thing. We, as a group chat of black people, our whole thing was, if you are an adult, no matter who you are, we're not going to sit here and try and educate you on things. Google is free. You saying that people aren't going to educate themselves on social issues, it's not social issues, it's fucking racism. If you don't want to educate yourself on racism, that's just a show of blatant white privilege, first of all, that y'all don't want to claim y'all have. That's blatant white privilege. You don't want to educate yourself on what black people are saying is wrong because you don't have to. You've never had to.
I don't think you understand. I don't think you understand the concept of not everyone. Like as you
Not
said,
everyone grows
because a
up
lot of
speaking
people,
AAVE, right?
because a lot of people don't actually have the struggles that black people go through, or people of color in general.
Obviously.
People don't necessarily concern themselves with these types of
They
issues.
don't care. That's what you mean. They don't care.
I think there's a difference between they don't care. I think
They
you can
don't care.
care,
You personally don't
but
care.
like when you have a person that like doesn't know if they can feed their family every day. The social issues
talking
is
about?
probably
We're
the
talking
last
about
thing
what?
that you.
Okay, but you're talking
If
about
you
that,
if
but
you let
Can I?
Hold on.
Can I
Go
say
ahead.
people
Go
not.
ahead. Go ahead.
I don't understand how you're correlating other people's issues, people not feeding their families, with black people's issues when most of that is black people issues. A lot of stuff
I
like
wanted
no no
to
no no
Obviously,
no
my
no no
wait.
dad.
I
no
wanted
no
to
no
say
no.
something
That's
about the
that's not
period thing.
So what
Wait,
are you
before
talking
we
about?
go
that
too
is
far off the topic, period literally came from Point Blank Period, which is made by black people, and also it was popularized by City Girls, two black women. So if it's not AAV, I don't know what it is.
If black
Also,
my question is,
He doesn't stop.
My question:
Go
am
ahead.
I not allowed to ask questions? Or?
Okay, well, I'm
Speak.
trying to
Go
tell
ahead,
you
but like,
something.
go
But
ahead,
just
but
jump
like,
in.
No,
like, I really want to hear
my
H
question
speak because H is
is,
trying. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
would you guys say that there is any um, context or scenario where the use of AAV might be not
Misused?
appropriating or not
Can I talk
offensive
on
or
this
not
one?
racist?
I would.
Can I say? Can I
So
say it?
wait.
I have
So
if
a
it were
follow-up.
can I say something? Can I say something? Because
Okay.
I growing up as a kind of a token black in my friend group because I have two white friends, and I live in a majorly suburban neighborhood. I grew up learning how to use AAVE through the internet, and I definitely think I can help with this situation because there's a right way. Like I had to learn there's a right way to use it and a wrong way to use it,
Mhm.
and basically in a way in a situation some black people and I know some black people who don't care if white people use AAVE as long as they're not misusing it, and in this situation I feel like if a black person you associate, like if you're friends with in like private though, if your friends with says you can go ahead and use AAVE, then respect their wishes and go ahead and use it. But if you misuse it, like on purpose, like not appropriating it, basically what I'm trying to say is you're not appropriating it if you if you're friends with someone who's black that has the boundaries of go ahead and use it, just don't misuse it, then that's not appropriating. I'd suggest that you don't use AAVE on the internet though, because that could really make a lot of black people mad, including me. And that's why, and like basically just it's appropriating if you use it in the wrong way and you like overuse it around black people for no reason, and you just I don't know. I don't know what I'm
For
talking about
me,
right
I
now.
say like
No,
especially,
that makes sense.
and I feel like if you educate yourself on the history and know what it is, where it came from, then it's not as bad as just using it because you think it came from such and such when it actually came from black people. If you educate yourself on the history and the background and stuff, it wouldn't
Right.
be as
I
bad.
think I think one of the things was that when I first heard the term AVE, I was like, wait, what is AVE? Because I actually didn't know. Because we called it just like black scent, right? Which is kind of
Which
like
is
the
not it.
mockery of yeah, which is kind of like the mockery of what like what words that were originated by black people or sentences or whatever. Um, uh, we basically called it that, and sort of we were talking with Casey about that, and like everyone knows not to like use black scent, which is like very clear appropriation.
I don't
And
think you guys do know not to use a black scent though, because a
Exactly.
lot of
I've heard people use black scent before
right, and
without
also
knowing that
on
they're using it.
yeah, like I don't think that's something that you guys know not to use because that's definitely still very much used.
well, you just said you've heard people use black scent without knowing not to use it,
No, when
No,
people
right?
say
like
not to use
not
black
knowing
scent,
they're
they say
using it.
they
They
use it
know
just
not to
Not
because
use
of
it,
this
but
is
they
how I grew
know.
up. But you grew up in the suburbs, so where are you hearing a black scent from?
Also, let's acknowledge that a black scent isn't certain words you use, it's the way you say things and the way you're saying words. And I feel like another
it's a
problem
lot of things,
specifically with
obviously.
non-black people using black scents in AAVE, the problem isn't just misusing it and overusing it, it's also the fact that black people who have grown up speaking this way have constantly been bullied for it, attacked for it,
Right.
and when
It's the
white
same as
people speak it,
dreadlocks in a
it's
way.
Exactly.
trendy and it's funny and it's weird.
And like,
Especially,
oh,
Definitely.
hold on,
Oh, okay. I was
we
I'm about to go
talking
on mute
shit,
for like a little
black
while.
scent, which comes from accent, very prevalent that you guys use it for joke comedy and
Mm.
like
Can I
it's
say
like
something?
Yeah.
The
Like,
accent
hold on,
what's
thing
I'm
really
funny
about
quick.
about
to
how I speak.
Wait, who's going
like,
on? Who said they were going on mute?
I'm about to go on mute soon because I have to order something off of DoorDash. But I do want to say that a lot of people, including white gays, I've heard it before, like a bunch of times by someone like Issa Twains or someone like what
What the fuck
Shane
is that?
Dawson.
Shane
Oh
Dawson.
yeah,
Shane
Shane
Dawson, definitely
Oh
Dawson.
Shane Dawson.
God, not Shane
Oh
Dawson.
my God,
Aren't you
no,
Rylan
because
though?
I hate him. But
Sage.
Sorry.
But
Sage.
I've heard it and a lot of people use black scents and knowing they're not supposed to use it, but they use it anyway, and it's really weird. And a lot of people, including black men, and I hope y'all know who King Batch is,
Not that cool.
Yeah,
have
he sent us
used
back
black
so
people
far.
as jokes and just and as use black people as jokes, including mocking black women, like how Kasia was just how Kasia was called Keisha by Calvin.
That fucking coon.
That was a microaggression towards black women, and a black man used that. That was a microaggression towards black women, and a black man used that as tack, and it's weird because, it's just like we aren't jokes, and the fact that people are normalizing, making us out to be jokes. Who in the hell just started their
Who's
car?
leaving?
I wanted to talk real quick about like the accent thing in AAVE because I'm from New York, so not only do I have a New York accent, I in New York, especially depending on what borough you live in, I know Queens and a lot of Brooklyn and Bronx. AAV is something that you grow up using. Like no matter what you are, you're gonna grow up using AAVE. And so people were asking like, if I grew up in New York and I use AAVE, is it okay for me to still use it? And I said, if you're educated on it and you know you're actively using AAVE, obviously using that. You're from the Bronx. Like all of your neighbors and the guy that works at the bodega use AAVE. Like that's not to make yourself sound more ghetto, more hood. That whole there's an inner black woman inside of me. That whole shit, that's weird as hell. And that's where I draw the line. It's like a lot of you grew up in the whitest of the white household. Y'all live in the suburbs and gated communities, but we have the exact same accent. That's my whole thing. It's like don't you're turning something on the internet that when you turn around and talk to your parents, you're not talking like that. Talk to me how you talk to your parents if we're really gonna get
Yeah,
into
that's
it.
what I wanted to also say. That's my one question is do you speak like that at your job interviews, to your parents, to your grandparents, like, or is it just something that you put on for your friends as like a little joke? Like,
Also, adding on to that, Amina, I definitely think that the fact that we, like black people, to get jobs, we have to be seen as more white
Yes, because
and have more
who in here
protective
code switches?
hairstyles
Who in
to
here
make us
code
seem more
switches of
white.
like
yeah,
It's
that's
just
Like
another
true.
thing.
if
Code
I were to
switching.
switch to something like, oh hi guys, I love going to what Lululemon, and also guys, I really really like Justin Bieber.
Froggy, what are you
I
talking
really
about?
really like
Froggy.
Justin
I made
Bieber.
you go order
If
your
I were
DoorDash.
to sound like the average suburban white person, then I would
Suburban.
be more likely to get a job. Like it's something that AAVE is something that is our dialect, and we can't even use that naturally because we get made fun of for it. We don't get jobs because of it. It's disgusting in
Right.
how racist it
There
is.
was a
Oh,
study that was made actually that
Hey y'all, I gotta
people
go. I
are
gotta go back
can you
to
less
send it?
work.
likely
Bye,
Bye,
Q.
Q.
Love
Bye.
Bye,
you.
Bye,
Koo.
Koo. Bye,
Love
Koo.
you.
Have a
people who
good job day
applied
at work.
people who applied at the same job, this is kind of off topic, but people who applied for the same job were more likely to be declined, even if they had the same qualifications, if they had a black sounding name. So I
I
fully understand what you're saying. And
definitely. I think it's so.
obviously that's like a systemic thing, right? Like for sure.
Yes, definitely.
And
Um.
and
Oh,
I fully understand where you're coming from, but I think like in a way, there has to be sort of a middle ground where we can agree that um, there is an issue of missing context, or um, I know some of you
Wait,
people
missing
did
context of
say,
what? Like
hold
context
on.
of what?
Some of you guys did say that it is appropriate to use it in certain contexts if you are educated on the matter. Um, but I feel like the attacks towards Casey, towards me, towards anyone that you guys attacked, um,
For the
weren't
record,
informed
we
enough.
there's no you guys. You're saying you
there's
Technically,
guys
no
I
you
attacked.
attacked
guys. It's
nobody.
I never came into Casey's DMs. I came into Casey's mentions. I said, this is what you did was wrong. None of us are coming into Casey's DMs saying, "Oh, you're terrible, you're this, you're that." A lot of times
you'd be
when
surprised. Not you
Yeah,
I'm
no,
guys.
talking about
I've seen
us
people
Not
being
you
specifically,
weird.
guys.
this
I've
people
seen
in this
people
space.
I've
Yeah.
seen people dox. I've seen people dox Casey. I've seen people hex her. I've seen people curse her. I've seen a lot of stuff in this community because I follow people that put that type of stuff in my TL. And definitely no one in this call has been doing that type of shit to Casey. And I think if you say y'all, and I have a huge issue with this because I said this to someone before, if you say y'all when you're trying to describe a different group of people than us, then why are you using y'all? Just say
Yeah, it's a
them
little
or
bit weird.
they or someone
And also
else.
to add
Because
before you
this.
continue, pause. Also, I wanted to say that
Uh,
typically when people do get like called out, because it's the internet, a lot of people like to dogpile, just to pile onto people. And Casey's not going to go with, like, there's not going to be only people being like, "Hey Casey, like, don't say this." There are going to be people that are going to be rude to her. And that's just how it works. Like, that's not, you can't avoid that on the internet. The internet isn't a very nice place to be. And that's just how it is. Like, I'm sure Casey knows that. She's a content creator. She's dealt with
Of
probably
course.
plenty of rude fans, rude people.
Oh,
Especially being a
absolutely.
female content creator, she's probably dealt with plenty of that. And that's like, when you get more attention, you're definitely going to get negative attention, especially when you're being called out for something. There's going to be people who don't even know what's going on. And they're just going to be like, "Oh, I heard like she's getting called out. Might as well just
like
send her
y'all be
some
doing
bad
with
messages."
Dream, but y'all ain't hear that
Right.
from
That
Like,
that is the
Oh my.
thing that upset me the most was, for example, the homophobia accusation was the one that I personally took a little bit more to heart because I have been in the community for so long. I've been in case community for uh,
Totally.
8 years now, and it's just kind of like disheartening to see a content creator that has put so much work into it, being like one of the not one of like the only content creator that would hold like um, different types like lip sync contests. She would do like all kinds of gay shit basically for us, and the space that she created, in the space that she created is what I mean.
So,
So to see
so basically, you're
to see
trying to say that.
people.
So basically,
Yep. No, go on.
you can. So basically, you're trying to say that it's disheartening to see someone that has created such a great safe space for you and your community to be accused of being homophobic, right? That's what you're trying to say.
Correct.
My thing
Um,
about that is, even if Casey may have made a safe space for you, she didn't make a safe space for the whole LGBTQ plus community or people of color. So we have the right
How
to
do you
call
know
her out.
that?
And at the end
like
of the
for
day,
Have you?
nobody
But
is
you haven't been in Casey's community.
I haven't
at
been
the
in
end of the
Casey's
day,
community personally,
nobody
but
is coming out here and trying to say, "Oh, Casey should die. Casey should be." Well, no,
Well,
people are saying that,
yeah, no,
but
people are saying
the
it.
not
most
us.
it wouldn't have gotten to this point if Casey would have just appropriately addressed the situation to begin with. Casey is making this seem like less of, "Oh, I'm offending marginalized groups," and more of, "Oh, toxic stan culture is getting me." This
Right.
isn't toxic stan culture. You're the
It's
toxic
not.
one here, and you're not listening to us. That's the problem.
And
For
she
example,
in, instead of addressing it properly, what she could have done, and this would have been no big deal. We wouldn't even be here talking to you right now. But she goes on stream and she insults stands, and she talking about stand culture and cancel culture, when people get called out, they say stand culture, but they're getting called out for racism, and really it's just angry black people. Like, it's your average, and that's what, when you guys were like, "Oh, are these people really offended, or are they jumping on the hate wagon?" No, these are real black people that are actually offended at the fact that, yeah, even if in that video she did not say the N-word, there's a whole other video of her saying it. And the AAVE thing, people have a right to be offended with her. And so when it becomes like a big, just, oh, a stand Twitter issue where it's like, oh, cancel culture, instead of just a blatant racist issue, that's where I think a lot of us have a problem with it.
Exactly. And the thing is, immediately after her so-called apology, with everything she did, you guys, every single one of you, like, don't lie and say you didn't, because we watched the stream, we know. You guys started mocking us. You guys started mocking the stands. You guys started mocking the people who called you guys out for AAV. You guys started
Mocking
mocking the people,
Dream, yep, we
mocking
saw it.
Dream, mocking people who are gay and don't support Casey. Like, what's so funny about that? You're trying to get people on your side, and yet you go back again and you start talking bad about the entire community. for what life.
It's funny that you mentioned that because like you're saying that you're trying to get people on your side. I don't think like you're trying to get people on your side is a fair assumption of what we're trying to do. It's like
No, it is what you're
we're
trying to do.
just
'Cause you guys kept telling me
yeah,
things
yeah,
like, "Oh,
yeah, but like you're saying, you're trying to get people on your side by
that's
being
saying
toxic, right?
Okay, but who is being
Where
toxic? Who's being
that's the
toxic?
experience, right? That's the experience that we have gotten from
okay, you guys, okay, but the thing is,
that community. And I
you guys
know that
talk
it's not
about
you
this.
guys, and I know that it's not all of you, even though, when I don't remember who the person who added me, LJ, said to come over when I said I'm gonna jump second. Um, immediately got bombarded with quote retweets where they were like, "Oh, here we go. Oh, he's gonna do it." It's like
Yeah,
you
that's
you can
awesome.
understand that you can understand how that does not exactly seem like a person who wants to have a serious discussion. I was like,
Maybe people just
should I
don't like
even?
you though.
That's completely
Yeah,
understandable,
and
but
that's here's the thing. Here's the thing. That's completely valid. If someone doesn't like me, that is so fine with me.
Okay,
Completely
and
fine. But
real quick.
don't call me racist or homophobic when you don't know what I've done. When
Oh,
you
So
don't
okay.
know
if
my
people
history
calling you
Actually,
or
hold on,
anything
because I
about
need to
me.
say something
who's
about
calling
this,
you
because this is
homophobic?
important.
wait,
This
Who's
is really
calling you
important.
homophobic?
Hold on,
Well,
wait,
well,
wait. Because this
I was more
pertains to the
so,
issue last night.
I was more so talking about in the context of being Casey, right?
oh my
I
Can
want
gosh,
I
to
wait,
can I say
guys.
something? Can I
before
say
somebody.
something?
Someone
Okay,
request on the Black MCYT Twitter account. I don't know who it is, but hey, Blacks. Hey.
Hey
Hey.
niggers.
Hey,
But
Oh,
moving
Wait,
on,
before
Hannah.
wait,
moving
Froggy,
on.
can I say
Guys,
something
can I
before
say
you?
something
I
real
need
quick?
to
I have
say
to say something
Can I
fast.
say?
Oh wait. You guys go first. You guys go first.
Okay,
I need
can I
to
say
go
something about
soon
this?
for the record.
Oh my
I'm
god, I need to say
sorry, but
something. I need to say something.
okay, yeah, sure.
Okay, so I don't know how long you're gonna be here, but like just like one thing I ask if you the rest of the time you're here, if you could stop like speaking down on us as if we're like children, because like this whole time you've been acting like we're less than you just because we're
Y'all compare
upset
Dream
about
to
what you've
Trump?
done.
Sorry.
What? Who
also,
said that?
since you
I
are
don't know. It's in
listening,
Sure.
my
I'm sorry.
mentions.
I am sorry if I did that. I didn't mean to come across that way. Sometimes I just get it in my head and I
I almost
say,
fell out my recliner. I'm so sorry, y'all.
yeah.
somebody check the Ramblax Curious Cat. But
Oh,
Can I say
since you have
something
to
real
leave
quick?
soon, I do have something that someone sent me that I'm gonna read out.
Mhm.
Surrounding the Beastler situation. I just want to get it out the way before like you have to go because I really want this to be heard.
somebody wanted me
So
to bring up something else with him as well. So when you're done with
okay.
Okay,
that.
Beastler Beastler has been something that's from my knowledge has been fairly normalized in the United States, and to be honest, it's not a slur that has been widely known as a slur. When she first said it in the context, I personally was like, okay, she didn't know it was a slur, and I understand the ignorance, so I didn't blame her, and I gave her the benefit of the doubt, which was dumb of me. She then realized it was a slur. She briefly apologized, almost as if she was brushing it off by saying, oh, sorry, and then continued to use that situation and her saying a slur to victimize herself, which not only completely dismissed and invalidated her previous apology, and make her seem like she was the victim of a hate crime for Stans calling her out on her use of the slur and using her words out of context. This was her problem with the apology. As an ex-fan of Casey's and a Mexican woman, this completely disappointed me since she didn't take into consideration the weight her words had. The fact that Vordie, a white man, and her other white friends decided to accept her apology when the word doesn't even affect them was completely disrespectful and disgusting.
Can
Right.
I say
Okay.
something real quick?
So can
Wait,
I
let Froggy
Hold on.
speak.
responding
Can
Let
I
to
him
get
speak.
something
that?
out? Can I
Hold
get
on.
something out?
Re,
Because I
Hold
really
on.
have to say
respond.
something, and I think this is genuinely important because this was touched on in the little podcast thing last night. But the fact that y'all, and I mean y'all, Casey, Holly, you and Sean, that
Hmm.
guy, other
Yeah,
guy, I don't
Shanye or
know who
whatever
that is.
his name was.
Y'all, and even if you didn't do it, then sorry for saying y'all. And if you and Sean didn't do anything, sorry for saying y'all. But y'all were trying to get Dream to say that Casey's not racist, and that you think that he thinks she's not racist. He's a white man. He's a cis white
Wait, can I
man.
talk about this for me? Can I speak on this for
Wait,
a
Go
moment?
ahead,
wait, hold on.
Sid.
I got a couple
Okay,
things I wanted to bring up when you guys are done with that, by the way. Just before he
okay.
goes.
I just want to, first of all, sorry, hold on.
Okay, bitch, come on.
Oh my
We're on the
god.
clock here. I gotta pick my kids from the sitter.
Okay, before
Okay.
you go,
True, that's
I have
true.
to say
Speak
something
up,
very
Sid.
fast. I'll be very fast before Sid
Yeah.
goes. But why do you guys immediately take being called racist as like this huge insult? Like you don't take a time to like step back and like look at your actions and think maybe why are people calling me this rather than oh my god they're calling me these horrible things, they're calling me racist and I'm obviously not racist. Like maybe you should take a
Mm-hmm.
step back and listen to minorities who are calling you racist and look at your actions and be like maybe there is a reason why they're calling me this and maybe I need to make a change to my behavior rather than
Right.
freaking out and going on a rampage on Twitter replying to people like oh my god stop calling me these things and victimizing yourself because you're being called racist. Like you're not
Right.
the victim if you're being called
I'll
racist.
explain.
Um.
I'll explain why. There is actually an explanation. So, being labeled as a racist is obviously a
Okay,
very bad thing,
I
Very
don't
right?
really
And
horrible
want to
thing.
hear why you think you're the victim being called
no,
racist. Like I'm not really interested in
if
that.
you don't want to hear it, then don't ask.
Yeah, I
What the
don't cuz
hell?
I don't.
You're
That's not. You're not
so
the
rude,
victim. You're
bro.
not.
Like,
You're literally.
I
Rude.
I don't know
I
if
mean,
you
Yeah,
think
no,
that you're
Vordie,
the
she
victim
said,
when you're
I'm
being called
sorry,
racist, but you're
but when
not.
you
Vordie, you
say
should definitely calm
All right.
why,
down with
All right.
the. Hey,
Okay.
hey,
I mean, when you say, I'm sorry, but when you say why XYZ, and then I say, well, because, and then you say, well, I don't want to hear it. Well, what do you
All
want
right.
me
Okay,
to
but
do?
she
Hold
doesn't
on.
want to hear
Hold
it
No,
in
on.
but
terms of
because I
you
have to say
being a
something about.
I
I
victim.
mean,
have a
if you don't want to
question.
hear it,
No,
then don't
Vordie,
Couple things.
word it as a
Vordie,
Answer
question.
the pin tweet,
Vordie.
do
please.
you think you're the
You
victim when
say
you're being called racist? Do you think you're the
you
victim when you're being called
you.
racist? Answer that question.
If I'm not racist,
So you
yes.
do think you're the victim when you're
It's
being
not.
called
If
It's
I
not.
racist?
if
It's
I
Okay,
am
not.
not
pause.
It's
if
not
I
being
am
called
not
racist
That
when
racist,
you're
explains
racist or not.
everything.
What do you
Okay,
think?
but you can't decide if you're racist or not. That is
Like
not in
Correct.
your hands
you're
in
not in
any
That
that
way,
is up
shape, or
to the
position.
form.
Right.
marginalized
Just
communities that
because.
you think you hurt.
Speaking
That's definitely up
of
to the marginalized communities that
hurting
you think you hurt.
marginalized communities, why am I hearing from the streets, from the grapevine, that y'all were comparing Dream to Trump and Ice? What was that about? Because
From the
again, that's just weird.
streets.
Yeah, no, let's
oh, no,
definitely
no,
talk
no,
about
no, no,
that.
no. We're not okay. Okay, that was not what happened. What happened was
Mm-hmm.
they were saying that I wasn't there. I had already left, but what they were talking about was his way of arguing and dodging questions was Trumpian.
The way
Not
y'all
that
set him up
Yeah,
with
he's.
but
these
you guys
questions was
backed
For
him
very
up.
Really.
weird. Like, can I say
example,
something? Can I say
Like
something? Can I say
comparing
something?
someone
Can I
to
say
Trump
example,
something?
is
Can I say
definitely
something?
an insult that
for
should
I have
not
been
be
for for
said.
quiet this whole time.
for
Can I just say something real
example,
quick?
when someone says, do you denounce this sort of hatred that's coming, or toxicity that's coming towards Casey, and you respond with, I denounce all hatred and all toxicity, that
Uh,
comes across
Okay,
as
well,
a
oh
first of
yeah,
I have
all,
been
definitely. I
Trumpian.
can
quiet this
see
whole
how it
time. I
comes
just have
off. I
something
can
to
see how it
say.
comes
I
across
see
as.
how it comes off, but also,
Oh my
this is
God,
what I've been saying.
Kasia.
You have been speaking the whole time. Let me get this out, and I also have something to read,
Ooh.
but I'll let you speak. Um, being Dream, right? He has denounced
Mhm.
toxicity several times. A lot of us are not we're not speaking on Dream's behalf. He says, don't send hate on my behalf, don't send hate. We're not sending hate on Dream's behalf. We're sending hate on the behalf of communities that were offended. So you guys backing him into that corner and trying to say, oh, well, make them stop doing this to Casey. He can't really control several
He
million
has
communities
19
on the
million
internet.
subscribers on YouTube. I don't think anyone could really control 19 million people,
Yeah, and
including the
Right.
president
also to
himself.
add, some of us in this call aren't even Dream stands. Some of us don't
Right.
even watch Dream. This
I
Dream
Right.
has
hate
nothing to
Dream.
do with this. Is Dream a
Sage
Sage
doesn't
black
even
hates
man?
like
Dream.
it.
Is Dream black? And
Sage
Dream's
No.
not
doesn't even
black.
like
He
Minecraft
doesn't.
user Twitch.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Like
Right.
Dream has nothing to do with this.
Right.
This
I
has
think
nothing to do with
where the
Dream. This has nothing to do with
issues
Minecraft stands. This has something everything to do with
that's where
your
you're
white
wrong. That's
friend.
where you're wrong, and I'll tell you
Huh?
why you're
Vordie,
wrong.
let
Oh,
her
No,
speak.
The
Vordie,
No,
let
okay,
her
He's
hold
not
on. Let
talk.
me
What are
speak.
you
speaking.
Let me
talking
speak.
about?
Ah!
Pause.
They're just
Let me
not
speak.
wrong.
wait, I want to hear
I
this, Sid.
understand why you think it has to do with dream stands because what Casey called out what gay baiting and now like it has to do with dream stands, but it has everything to do with these clips being brought up, and maybe people didn't even know like they don't even know how this all started. They're just seeing these clips and they're wondering, well, why is she saying those things? And they go to her
Mhm.
page and they see her freaking out and yelling at like saying all these things to kids on the internet because they're telling her, hey, like you shouldn't be saying this. And it's not like a lot of people aren't even involved in this because of Dream. They're involved in this because they see Casey like just disregarding what minorities are
She's being
saying
a
because she thinks
weirdo
she's
and
all big and
victimizing
bad and
herself.
above the law or something. Like She just thinks she's incapable of
No,
racism
no, I think
or bigotry.
the biggest reason why she's
This
disregarding it
might
is
have,
because
okay, for the record,
it's
this might have
pseudo
started because of
moralistic.
Dream or Dream Stand, but now it's not about that.
It's
It's not about that
Dream
anymore.
stands anymore.
Why
I
are
don't
you
even know why
defending
he would
Casey
be
with your
there.
whole life? Like you're defending
They're
Casey with
friends,
your
I guess.
whole
I don't
lung,
know.
They're
dude.
friends. I guess
Casey
it's
probably
Casey's
don't even
Twitter.
like you.
Oh
No,
my.
Because we're
don't say that. Don't
friends.
say
I
that.
don't
Don't say
know.
that. Be
Don't.
nice.
They're friends.
Who
I'm
said
not
that?
being nice.
Black
I'm tired.
MCYT Twitter account. Was that you?
That was
Wait,
not
who's
me.
on
Don't
who's
look
on the account? Who's on the account?
Who's on
But
the account?
It's not
Theodore.
account.
oh,
Oh,
The
okay.
Black MCYT Twitter account. That's a group
okay,
of
but
Twitter
I
Theodore
have
accounts.
something I want to read out really quick.
Sorry, I don't follow Minecraft accounts. I'm 28. I told you.
It's
Now
not
I'm
just a
about too
Minecraft
young to be
account.
doing
Grown.
this account. This is
We didn't ask you
embarrassing.
if you follow Minecraft accounts.
Yeah, it's just Theodore right now because Nana's busy.
Weaponize the shootings in Colorado to like fuel your attack towards fans with the old hashtag shooters for dream thing, which by the way, that wasn't, not only was that not started by MCYT's Twitter, it's kind
Oh,
of
I thought that was
joking.
stupid. I thought that was
Yeah.
stupid. 100%.
Yeah, no, I
For
definitely
the
thought
record, I didn't bring up that I feel like that is kind of irrelevant, and anyone who would tweet something like that is just fucking stupid. Just straight up.
Yeah, no, like
But you
saying
guys,
Dream promotes gun violence by saying by him not denouncing the shooters for Dream tag is very dumb.
I don't agree with that, and I think I said it on the stream as well. I think I said let's change the conversation to something that's actually relevant. If I remember correctly, I might be wrong, but don't. Yeah, I do not think the whole shooters for Dream or whatever the hashtag was is a valid sort of criticism of him. I don't think. Here's the thing. I don't
it
think
had
that
nothing
any
to
of
do
this
with him.
is exactly. I don't
Can
think
we
that
stop
any of
talking
this.
about Dream? Dream's kind of irrelevant
Yeah.
in this situation.
Literally,
Yeah, no.
Like we're not talking about
You're
Dream
right.
right now.
Casey's telling
Yeah.
us she would drag
Oh,
Dream,
hold
and then
on,
we
y'all.
did.
Someone just tagged me a tweet saying, asking why y'all in the stream, I guess, forced Dream to label himself when he said he's ambiguous before, like sexuality wise.
Oh,
Can I
that
say
was a
something
big
on
one for me. That when we saw that, and the stuttering thing was also like a big one because
Oh yeah,
people were saying
that one Twitch reply,
right.
that one Twitch
Right, I
comment
do
that
want to
said
say
stop
something
stuttering.
about the stuttering first. First of all, I genuinely did not hear him stutter at all. I don't know if he did. I did not hear him. We were in a Discord call after with Casey on her Discord, and someone posted a tweet about how we were making fun of his stutter, and we were kind of like dumbfounded by like, wait, did we like? I don't know if you guys have actually saw someone make one of the four of us.
That's the thing.
Fun of it.
After Dream left, I left. So what I was getting in my curious cats that like you guys were definitely saying that, but I was like, I'm not watching the stream right now. It is.
I watched
3 in
the
the morning.
stream. I watched the stream like when Dream joined to the like when Dream left, kind of when they started playing Roblox. That's when I left. When y'all started playing Fashion Famous, but
I left after that too.
Yeah, no, I think you left after that. But like, I don't think anyone like in that call was making fun of Dream stutter.
Because we genuinely like did not. Yeah, I don't know if it was the chat.
People in the Twitch chat were making fun of him.
And honestly, if you could link the people that did that helps because I'm a mod and we can take care of that.
Yeah, there's a screenshot spreading around of someone who did it. I think
if someone can tag me, please, if you could.
Yeah, one of y'all could do that. I don't really care that, but I don't.
About the straight.
Hold on.
Okay, about the straight thing before I go because I'm my print's almost done. It was kind of surprising to me that people were saying that we forced Dream to talk about his sexuality because we didn't. Like we were talking about what he's doing with George and how it's like flirty and how it's like gay baity, blah blah blah. And then he sort of like brought up that that's how we are off stream too. That's what we do. Me as a straight guy, and then we like moved back. Like it wasn't, and I feel like it was made a big deal by a lot of people, and also almost like a lot of people sort of came out and said, guys, he was talking in a hypothetical. That doesn't mean he's straight. Or something along those lines. And it kind of surprised me almost that it was such a big deal. I want to know your opinions on that, and if
Wait,
you
can I say
thought
something
that
before this,
this
and then I can
was a
leave?
big deal.
Can I say something real quick?
As someone who was
Okay,
unlabeled for a
wow.
long time, as myself in the community, but I'm not anymore. But my brother just threw a fucking rock at my window.
What
Um,
the? Oh
but
my
but
god.
Oh,
as someone
ghetto.
who's unlabeled myself for a long time, oh my god, like it's. I think the unlabeled people in this community felt like he was forced to say his sexuality and was
Do you
uncomfortable with it,
think
and
so?
I honestly don't really have an opinion of the situation myself
Hmm.
because I just genuinely think it's up to Dream. If he feels like he was forced to say sexuality, it's up to him. If he doesn't feel like he was, then it's up to him to say that as well. But the unlabeled people in this community, and the people who have struggled with their sexuality for a long time in this community as well, felt like that they and I saw this on my TL a bunch. It felt like he was forced to say his sexuality, and despite the fact that Dream has said he's ambiguous a lot of times, and I feel like I can see where they're coming from. Like they're like, it's weird being like they. It felt like from their perspective, I definitely think it felt like they. It seemed like, oh, what sexuality? What's your sexuality type question, and then someone was
We
like
we didn't
in
ask that though.
hypothetical. I know, just like in a
Yeah.
hypothetical,
Hmm.
if someone were to ask you what's your sexuality, and you replied back with, I don't know, or I'm ambiguous, or I'm unlabeled, and that person were to ask again, what sexuality are you, please tell. And I feel
Hmm.
like a lot of people saw the situation as
Bailey,
that,
who
and it's
find
their choice to
nails?
see the situation as that, because
Right, but you seeing the situation like that doesn't mean that the situation was like that, especially from Dream's perspective, right? Because we're talking about Dream here. Like he didn't
Okay, can
seem
I say
like
something about that real quick?
he did.
I
Left?
didn't want to
Yeah.
talk
go
about
ahead,
Dream. I don't even know why we're talking
Sid,
about this white
go,
man.
let Sid speak.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Sid.
Thank you. Okay, Vordie, I thank you for bringing that up. Why are we talking about Dream? This is about how your friends, I don't know what their name is, are extremely invalidating to the black community, every community out there.
Thank you. I don't.
Why are we talking about Dream? Personally,
That's
I
what
do
I
not
was
care
trying to
about
know.
Dream. Dream is a white man. Dream
Yeah.
cannot speak on this. I do not care for him. I do
I
not
don't.
care about the whole you making fun of his stutter thing. I do not care about him being outed over. Well, I mean, it's a bad thing, but I'm not caring about that right now. Right now, I'm caring about how you and that Blackson and the AVE, Casey and her saying the N word
And
and the B slur
also,
and
Sid,
many other
the
things.
let's
guilt
let's not
tripping.
say let's not say you don't care about the stuttering thing, because like as
I
someone who has trouble
just said.
speaking
For real.
It was very
someone just
weird.
asked Vordie, sorry,
Also, wait,
was
I
about to
said
say
this earlier, but can
Vordie,
someone make sure
but
you're looking at the group Curious Cat?
Yeah, I
yeah,
logged in.
sure,
I didn't see
but
too much, but I'll log back in.
someone said before he goes, can you ask if it's okay if you guys can ask him what he took from the call, like what did you learn, and if you didn't learn anything, then damn.
I wanted to
But
What
talk
are your
about the
thoughts?
guilt tripping really quick before he went, but yeah.
That's a good question. I think uh, there's generally things during talking where I was like, huh, right? I don't think I could like specifically point out. I think as just black scent, and that's sort of in my head that kind of included Ave, so it was like one of those things. I don't
oh,
know the
Vordie,
history. Yep.
Vordie, by the way, if you do see people using the word ebonics, that's also a word for AAVE. Just a tip.
Ebonics.
Yeah.
EBON
Oh, yeah.
as
Okay, got
yes.
it. Got it. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. I think one of the things I could hope to convey is that it helps to speak with more understanding to people. And I know that that maybe wasn't extended to you guys from us either. Um, it's hard to, when you're receiving this much hatred, it almost like creates this fight or flight response in you where you feel like you need to respond, which is why I think a lot of into that and educate myself on that and make a more educated having a more educated opinion on me. For example, me saying that I don't think period is ave. After I can like look into that and I can come up with a more actual educated opinion. This is me sort of like speaking like a little bit out of ass without like knowing necessarily.
White people do have
I,
that.
and I have the privilege of being able to have the time to learn about things like that, which is for some people they don't. And yeah, that's it.
Do you mind if I say something about the fight or flight thing you mentioned?
And can I ask something
Mhm.
out there?
Oh, okay.
Wait,
I
Oh, I
was
had
after
to
we
just
read
say
the
that, there's
period
wait,
something
again.
that
wait, wait,
Tasia
wait,
wants to
like
read, and they've been waiting for a really long time, and I want to get
I
it
had
in
two
before
things.
Go
Vordie
ahead,
has
go
to
ahead, go
go.
ahead.
Okay, so this one kind of goes back to Dream, so I'm going to cut the Dream part out because I just said we're not talking about him. But someone says, can you ask Vordie if he thinks he's able to speak for the whole LGBTQ community? Because that's the vibe I got last night, and he kept trying to make...
No,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Take
no, that's the vibe
accountability
I
for
got
queer baiting.
Yeah.
today as
no.
well.
Can I ask something else?
I was there as a representation of part of the community, specifically Casey's part of the gay
Definitely,
community.
definitely. And I think you're taking the
I
same role in this call
know,
as well.
right? Not one person represents an entire community. That's not even possible. I don't think that you could find one person that represents an entire community perfectly anyway.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
And
I
definitely.
the...
definitely not. I definitely don't speak for all gay people. I don't speak for white people or any majority or minority or part that I'm maybe a part of.
Okay.
I'm saying my opinions and things that have been told to me by other people in Casey's LGBTQ plus community.
Right.
So, this is about this dream situation, but I feel like
Why
this is
is everyone
something that
talking
someone
about
wanted to
Dream?
get out because this is important. But someone said it's so terrifying to me to think about people pressuring me to come out, and as an unlabeled person, it's scary to me. And watching that footage was so invalidating. Y'all have anything to say on this?
Also, wait, to add on to that,
Yes,
someone actually messaged me and said there's a difference between unlabeled and ambiguous, and Dream's ambiguous,
There.
which means
Yeah.
that we shouldn't analyze the sexuality at all.
Yeah, definitely,
right.
definitely.
Right. I can see on the first of all, correct on the ambiguous versus whatever thing.
Unlabeled.
What unlabeled? Right. The thing that I would say about that is I can understand how a person can feel a certain way when something that makes trouble is brought up, and maybe there could have been a content warning, but we didn't know that we were going to talk about that. And maybe people who might identify as unlabeled or ambiguous might be comfortable with talking about that, and some are not. We didn't pressure him, and I know it might have sounded like we did. I don't know if it did to you guys, but to a person that is ambiguous or unlabeled, it could come across as that. I don't feel like this is something that I can speak on, like how they feel. That's on them to speak on. If you felt like that, um, I'm sorry. That was not meant. It was never meant for us to make Dream come out as anything. Like we didn't even care about him bringing it up. Just so that that's clear. Yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
Can I just
Um,
I I'm
sorry.
just gonna be like a sentence, Amina.
After
I
after
swear.
the
Okay,
person's
okay.
anyone who's going after Amina, I'm gonna speak after Amina. After
Okay.
you're done.
Okay.
Yes.
All
LJ,
right,
you go.
I'll
After you're
do
done,
these.
Sarah, go
I'll
ahead.
do these two, and then I really do have to go.
Okay.
Again.
You can
Sorry.
go after. I have one question to ask you.
Right.
Okay, LJ, you
Me?
can go
Or,
ahead. Yeah.
okay.
And then I'll go.
I just want to point out, I feel like what people are telling you right now is just pointing out something you did wrong rather than asking for your opinion on it. That's how I feel about it. You can say your opinion and everything. I'm just letting you know that. Separate. I sent the question earlier. Do you think being labeled racist is worse than having racist actions happen to you and your minority group?
No.
Can you just... Thank you. That's all I need to hear.
Yeah.
Amina?
Absolutely.
Oh, anyways, Amina,
Wait,
go.
LJ, what was your question? I just spaced out.
It's pinned.
Check the group chat.
If being
Okay.
racist
Okay.
is worse than having being labeled a racist, basically, and
Okay.
Just important to
obviously
me that
being
you
racist
acknowledge that that is our problem.
is
Yeah.
obvious.
So my question kind of goes along with that. I still want to know, like, whether you think you're the victim when you're being called racist. And I know I'm gonna
I think
elaborate,
we answered
but yeah. So I'm
I
gonna
did.
kind of
I can
explain
elaborate.
why.
Yeah.
Like, so when somebody calls you racist, like, obviously you know in your heart like what you think, but sometimes like everybody has like implicit bias and stuff that they've been taught. In America, racism is taught. Like that's how America is held up. Like America is held up on like the back of America is white supremacy. And that's why like a lot of people have these implicit biases, like these judgmental thoughts, and they don't think they're racist. They're like, oh, I'm not racist. Like I don't I love black people, but you're taught these things, and maybe you don't think they're against black people, but they are. Like they are. And maybe you're not like a terrible person, like you're not horrible and terrible and as bad as people who like know in their head that they hate black people, but you're still like you're not like this pure
Complicit
human
to
being.
the.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not ever incapable of being a racist person. Like even black people, like black people aren't incapable of being anti-black just because you're black. Like you
Yes, Owens.
you still have to watch what you're saying, and when people are calling you racist, maybe take a look at what you're saying and what you're doing,
Right.
and don't take it immediately when you hear that word racist. Don't think, oh my god, like I'm not that. Like no way, I can't be that. Like I've interacted with so many white people that I've said, hey, like don't say this. Like you shouldn't. That's like really offensive to me as a black person. And they're like, oh well, I'm not racist, so it's okay. And it's like maybe you're not racist. Maybe you don't hate black people at your core, but you're still doing these things that are perpetuating these
Right. You're
like these
saying
ideas
racist
and opinions.
things. Right. So I
Yeah.
agree on the sentiment of um, having racist biases that might have been taught by society or some learned experience is not necessarily something that could label you necessarily a racist. The same way that a person may have like some homophobic thoughts, but that doesn't mean that they hate
Yeah.
gay people, right? Like just because you
So
have homophobic thoughts doesn't make you a homophobe. I think people um, Casey specifically, because I wasn't really brought up to this until then, sort of has taken a very free speechy, not free speechy, sort of like a stance against people who have had these sort of like. If you guys know, before the Lover hosts, Austin used to do a show that was basically a royale, which was mostly politics based, and Casey was considered one of the lib people, right? Because and she would always sort of like stand up to other people who would do these sort of microaggressions and not understand the concept of, hey, just because I'm saying that what you just said is wrong doesn't mean that I'm calling you racist. I think the problem here was specifically being labeled a racist. That's what sort of like triggered this whole
yeah.
reaction.
So I wanted to speak up about that. Sorry to interrupt you, but I
No,
think that especially white allies, they need to realize that people aren't gonna come to you like not everybody's gonna come to you with this nice little babying voice like, hey, don't say that. You could
Especially not us.
those thoughts could be perceived as racist. Like no, some people like they're not gonna explain to you why. Oh, like that might be racist to some people. Like some, it's racist. Like some things that you're saying, they're racist, and people are gonna like I mean, people don't know you on the internet. So if they're calling you racist and you know, like, oh, like, I'm not racist, like, you're not, don't, like, that can't be your rebuttal. Like, your rebuttal can't be, oh, I'm not racist. Like, that's not, hey, like, this thing that you're saying is racist. Oh, I'm not racist. Like, that's that doesn't make sense to make that
Right.
argument.
I think
Especially if you claim yourself as an ally, like, you should be able to listen to people's voices rather than immediately speak over them saying, oh, I'm not racist. Even though maybe it does suck to be called racist. And even though, like, I don't, personally, that's not what I think, but maybe to you it does suck to be called racist when you know you try your best to be an ally. But when you're called racist, you shouldn't immediately take it as like, oh, like, I'm the victim of this, like, this person is trying to attack me by calling me these terrible things. So don't
right.
immediately,
I think what happened
yeah,
here was a
don't immediately take it
combination.
personal.
Right. I think it wasn't just like if this was a sort of a singular situation where a clip surfaced just like completely out of the blue, and that the response would have been completely different, 100%. The thing that happened here was you had this tweet that Casey sent, and then these responses suddenly came in, and the first clip that emerged was the clip of her singing that song. So when you know that you didn't say that word in that song, even though it clearly sounds like you did, but you didn't, right? It's very easy to get caught up in that moment and have an irrational, like very angry response to that, especially when people are not saying that you said something racist, but they're labeling you a racist, right? Because that's what people were doing. They weren't saying that what you said was racist. People were calling her a racist. They were calling her a horrible
Okay,
person.
yeah, that's
So
my
Yes,
that's
but
why
point.
she
Like,
she
also
when
did
you're
say
that's
labeled
in
as
why
a
another
she
clip.
racist,
had
you're not the victim. You're not the victim of
that's
some
and
being labeled as racist. Like, that's not, you're not going to get trauma from being labeled as a racist. You're being labeled
Exactly.
as a racist because
LOL.
of your actions, and people are
Also, she
affected by
said
your
the N
actions.
word in another clip,
Yeah,
so
there was
she
two clips for the record of her
either
right, right,
saying
way.
the
right.
N
But
word.
that clip surfaced later,
Yes,
and
yes,
and
yes. I
and
understand
and
that.
the initial response was already to sort of like brush this off as the quote unquote Minecraft stands, which I think the initial outrage was triggered by that. I think we can all agree that people did find these clips specifically because of that original tweet. I don't think there's anything to respond to here, right? Like we can agree on that.
Yeah, but we're not talking about that anymore. We're talking about Casey's response and how, for
Right.
me personally, I've dealt with a lot of white people in my life. I live in I go to a predominantly white school right now. I went to a predominantly white elementary school. I've dealt with so many white teachers, and your first response should never be to lash out. And we've even seen, since you want to talk about Dream so much, we've seen Dream do this, and that wasn't right of him. That wasn't, you can't, somebody calls you racist or somebody calls you homophobic, you can't, your immediate response can't be anger. That's not what you do. Like, if somebody comes up to you, your friend, and says, hey, like, you've hurt me, you can't just start yelling at them saying, oh, but I didn't mean it,
Right,
but
but
I
these are
didn't
not
mean
your
it.
friends. These are not
Yes,
your
yes, but
friends that
I'm
are
just
coming up to
making an
you,
analogy.
right?
I understand it's
Right.
overwhelming to have a bunch of people in your mentions saying your things that you think that you aren't, but you shouldn't, especially as a content creator, you shouldn't be lashing out on Twitter in response to this. And that's, like I said, Dream's done that. He was very wrong in that situation, and I do not blame anybody if they don't accept his apology. And it's like, that's just not a response that should be your first instinct, is to lash out in anger.
You know what else shouldn't be your first instinct? And I'm gonna try and segue this as smooth as I can and make it as quick as I can. But I was getting a couple CCs about like the whole in terms of bringing up the queer baiting and you bringing up like pretty much trauma dumping in the middle of the stream, and a lot of people found that kind of weird. So I was trying to make this as smooth and as quick as I can, but people were like, oh, you know, if you're talking about queer baiting and you're bringing up this, but also what they're doing isn't necessarily queer baiting. So that's what I was hearing.
About like Sean getting run over or what the fuck ever they were talking about.
That's the thing. I don't know who it was. I wasn't really paying attention. Some
I
people were
do.
like,
I do believe it was Sean.
oh, okay, then
Yeah,
I don't
Sean.
know.
Apparently, Sean got ran over. I didn't even fucking know that. Yeah, I don't know what that was about. Honestly, if I'm like
Yeah,
just
okay, then ignore
completely
that.
honest
I
with
don't know.
you, I don't know. I think it people have a kind of like a limited view of what gay baiting is in a way. I do think what Dream and George, well, not Dream and George. I cannot speak specifically, but I especially on the Austin shows, I've seen it quite a bit. Like men do tend to like flirt with each other, and I think people have sort of a more limited view of what gay baiting actually is. And they consider it to be like, oh, it has to be like this, or it has to be done to specifically get profit. To me and to a lot of gay people in Casey's Discord, gay baiting usually is about doing something that maybe a gay person would do that they wouldn't get the same response as, or maybe would get bullied or whatever. And it can be tiresome. So I hope you guys can understand that that's how that the gay community in Casey's Discord felt like. And that's why it was brought up, because that's how they felt. It's like anytime it happens, there's just a bunch of eye rolling. Sorry. Yeah, that's why that was brought up. I don't know why the trauma had to be brought up. I don't think it's a good argument tactic. I wouldn't have brought it up. I didn't agree with everything they were saying. Like I told you, the gun thing I thought was irrelevant. The some other things also. I don't always fully agree with everything. Yeah, that's what I can. That's all I can speak on that particular, because again, I just don't agree, so I cannot necessarily tell you.
Okay.
I hate
I
white
think we
gays, by the
wanna.
way. Oh my
I
god.
think we're gonna wrap this
Hey.
up soon. So if anyone does have any final questions or statements, could they bring that up? Oh wait, Lee, do you have something to say?
Sorry. Okay, so I think this is you mentioned this like a while back, but it really irked me. You said that the reason why, at least you and Casey believe the reason why people like dug up those old clips of Casey saying the N-word, or maybe it just sounded like she said the N-word, was only because like she was getting, jumped on for whatever she said about like Dream and George gay baiting, whatever. But it's still, even if she said it in the past, it still affects Black people today, and the pain is still apparent. If she apologized, then that's fine. She can make another one. But when she immediately jumped to like anger and just lashing out, it basically invalidates her apology, because it's just not fake
Right.
at that point.
What I'm saying is the reason why the response was what the response was because it came from a non-genuine place initially, right? I do not believe that you guys are coming from a non-genuine place, right? Just to make that clear. But I think the initial thing, and that was what she was initially responding to, was coming from a disingenuous, pseudo-moralistic place of sort of like, well, you shit talk are my favorite. Let me find some shit on you.
I don't mean to interrupt, but for me, the first person who I saw on my timeline who pulled up that video was a Black person. So I think you need to clarify before you say this. Do you think it was a Black person? Like, obviously a Black person wouldn't come from a pseudo moralist or whatever you're saying. A Black person would come from a genuine space because they're affected by that word.
What the fuck is
So you need to
pseudo-moralistic?
clarify whether you think that a white person pulled up this clip or a Black person, because
I
obviously
don't
a Black
know
person
who.
can't come from a disingenuous place when talking about Black issues.
Right. Well, I don't know. You have people like Candace Owens.
I mean,
who do come
yeah,
from,
but Candace Owens isn't talking
disingenuous.
about Black
She's a
issues.
coon.
Candace
What?
Owens,
Well,
like,
she
we're not talking about
is
Candace
talking about.
Owens right now.
Yeah, I'm
Right
just
now,
saying
we're talking.
Why are we talking about Candace Owens? We're so
Yeah,
off
right
topic.
now.
We don't talk
because
about coons in
Who's
here.
echoing?
Because
someone is
what?
echoing.
Right now, we're speaking about people bringing up the clip of kacytron saying the N-word, or supposedly saying the N-word. And my point I'm saying is that you're saying, oh, like they're bringing it up from a disingenuous place because of he's her Minecraft, whatever. But I'm saying that a Black person pulling up this clip would not be coming from a disingenuous place. The difference is a white person like bringing up this clip. Maybe, yeah, they are being like, oh, I want people to get mad at her because I'm upset with her. But a Black person bringing up this clip,
You cannot
no.
know that though.
Yes, I don't know that. But for me personally, the first video I saw on my timeline was from a Black person. And you don't know that either. So you can't say that they were coming from a disingenuous place because you don't know the person's race. You don't know who they were. And you just, that's not your place to say that.
No, but when you see because you're talking about a one tweet, we're talking about hundreds and thousands of tweets though
Yes, but this group chat
Yeah,
has
so
32
maybe some of
members
them,
and all
right?
of them.
So
maybe some of them were disingenuous. Maybe some of them were from white people just trying to get at her, get back at her for saying something about Dream and George. But the reality is,
You
not
cannot
all
say
of
that's
them.
the only
Yeah,
reason.
exactly. That can't be
I
your whole
think the
justification
initial
for your argument. It's a few white
reason
people that were just
That is
spreading it
untrue.
around to get back at her, because a lot of black people were upset because like they rightfully they were upset, and them being upset is not them trying to get back at kacytron, because as a black person, I'm affected by that word, and
This whole group
everybody
chat's
in this
black.
space,
Let's
yes,
say that.
exactly,
We're the
everybody
rare
in this group
blacks.
chat is
Let's clear
affected
that
by
up
this
real quick.
word. And it's not your place to tell us, oh, like you're coming from a disingenuous place when we're the ones affected. Like you're not. If somebody calls you that, you're not going to say anything. Like that's not. You don't get super affected when somebody's saying that word. We do. So that's not your place to be like, oh, it was coming from a disingenuous place. Maybe some were white people just trying to cancel Casey or whatever. But not all of them were. So I don't
right,
know what point you're trying to
yeah,
make.
the point that I'm making is that the timing of it was what made it seem disingenuous. That it came
Okay.
exactly at the
Well,
particular time where she made that tweet.
So maybe
well, I
the
I think
don't
we
timing
get
really.
was
we
Maybe
get
don't
disingenuous
speak on
to
it
you,
at
but it's
all.
still like, even if something does come up in like a disingenuous way, it still came up and it still needs to address, no matter to be addressed, no matter how it came up. Like even if it was the original clip
and
was
it
brought
was
up by a white
addressed.
person just trying to get back at Casey. But the truth is, Casey should not have lashed out like that just because she thought that the person who brought it up was just trying to get back at her. Like she should be respectful and like not be lashing out just because she thinks people are trying to get back at her for talking about Dream and George. Which, for the record, I don't even think, like, I saw the thread. Somebody asked her who she was talking about, and then she was like, "Oh, I'm not talking about Dream and George." When I don't even know, like, I really don't know what happened there. I saw her say Dream and George in her tweet. I really don't know what was going on.
She did not say it. It was the tweet said
not in her original tweet. For the record, not
oh,
in her original tweet. There
fair.
was a tweet she replied to that I saw that her saying, "Oh, I'm not talking about Dream and George."
Yeah, which she wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know who she was talking about, but we're
My
not on
thing is,
that
if you're
topic
not
right now.
talking
We've
about
moved
Dream and
past that,
George, why
and we
keep
keep coming
attacking
back
their
to that.
fans?
We're not talking about that right now.
Right.
Also, I don't
Right.
really know why. I'm sorry, but I don't really know why your initial thought when you saw like all the floods of like tweets brought up about Casey saying the N-word or whatever, why your initial thought was, oh, these are white people bringing this up to make us look bad, and
No,
not, oh, black
no,
people
no,
caused
no.
it.
Can y'all hear
No,
me?
we didn't. Yeah, nobody. I didn't say anything about the race of the person who brought up the tweet. I was talking about pseudomoralism. That
Can y'all
doesn't
hear me?
mean
Well,
yes.
why
Can
is
you-
it
can you hear-
more
Thank you.
so like
My point is that
this is coming from?
if it is coming from, sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to say, because you're talking about what I said, from when you say it's coming from a point of pseudo moralism, the only time it could come from
What
that
the
place
fuck is
is when it's not a black
pseudo-moralism?
person, because it can't come from pseudo
No,
moralism or whatever you're saying when it's a black person bringing up the clip, because a black person bringing up the clip would be somebody who was affected by that word, who it hurt them to hear her say that, and they're bringing it up because they want people to know that she said that, and they don't want to just suffer in silence. Versus a
no.
white person who's just trying
It
to
can
cancel her.
absolutely come from a place of pseudomoralism if it coming from a specific
Yeah,
minority. And I can give you
that's
and
where
I can
you need
absolutely give
to
you an
know.
example for example.
Okay, give me an example of a
Okay,
black
wait,
person
before you
bringing
do
up a
that, can I
clip
say
of
No,
something
Dream
I'm
and
not.
real
George.
quick?
It's pseudo
No,
moralism.
I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you an example from the minority that I'm in, which is
Before you
gays.
give an example, can I say something real quick?
Okay, but gay
Yeah.
people and black people aren't the same thing, so it's not really the same. It's not an
Maya,
Can
you
I
equivalent
gotta
just
let
say
Maya
something?
Guys,
Can
by
finish.
I
the
just
way,
You're
say
saying that a
something?
group that
hi,
would get offended by a word.
guys in the group chat who don't know what pseudo moralism is, I don't know what it means either. I'm
Sage. I
assuming
think
that
you're
it
echoing.
means. Who's fucking?
It's
Sage.
Sage.
Oh my gosh, someone was echoing.
Sorry.
But
Sorry.
I'm assuming that pseudomoralism means that you're pretending to be like affected by this issue, and that can't apply to
No,
black people, or like
no,
you're
no, 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 not
weaponizing this.
affected.
You're weaponizing it to
you're weaponizing it, pretending that you care.
No,
I guess I don't know.
but
I have no clue what pseudomoralism
more
is.
it's more the sort of like the fake outrage over a thing that you might not be particularly actually outraged about. Kind of like, for example, and to give an example, because you said that if a group who might be affected by an issue cannot possibly bring up that issue because of pseudomoralism. I remember, you guys don't remember this probably, this is ancient history. Back in Big Brother fucking days, there was this contestant who would, Perez Hilton. I don't know if you guys know Perez Hilton.
I hate
I
him.
hope you don't. If you
don't, dead.
if you don't Google him. Just trust me. It's not.
He's horrible.
Awful. And he's just like an awful person. He's called people the F word like constantly. He get called the F word all the time. And during Big Brother, someone called him the F word, and he sort of really lashed out, pretended to be very. Someone called him the F word, and he sort of really lashed out, pretended to be very upset because he actually didn't like the person. That is what pseudomoralism is.
So
it's
how
pretending
did you know that he was pretending? He told you?
No, he didn't tell me. He told the cameras of the Big Brother thing, right? So this is, for example, an example of a minority using a word that's used against a minority to get back to a person. Now, again, I'm not saying that is what happened here, 100%, right? I cannot know that, but I can tell you that the timing is suspicious.
One of the Mayas said that pseudomor. Look at the definition, and it's noun: a person who seeks to regulate the morals of others, or to imbue others with a sense of morality.
Also, I just pinned it. Oh, wait. Okay, I was checking my mics was on, but I just pinned a tweet that was from you from yesterday, and I just want you to read that tweet and think about what you said. I just want you to see it again, then see what you said.
Can I say my outro? I'm
also,
tweet.
hi,
Can I just say? Can I say bye?
Hi,
I'm
Naya.
tweet.
Okay, say bye.
Sid's
Okay.
wait, Sid.
Everybody follow me. I'm making funny tweets about this because he's not listening and I'm over it. So, bye everybody.
Bye, Sid.
Bye, Sid. I want you dead, by the way.
Oh, can you?
Oh God.
I wanna. I guess Vordie, like, I guess like what does pseudomoralism or whatever I guess have to do with like the points that they're making right now? You could like elaborate. I guess like explain.
Yeah, because I didn't even know what
maybe
that
I'm just
was
dumb.
3 seconds ago.
Yeah.
I feel like I told you.
Yes, I
Naya just joined.
You know how whenever black people or like people of a affected community try to bring something up, and then like people also like try to speak about it, so but like we get like overshadowed by them, and it seems as if like the white people are more mad about it. I think that's what he's trying to talk about. Like the people that are not in that community are more mad about it. But the thing is,
that can also be that.
Hold on.
The thing is, we're constantly getting like talked over. It doesn't mean that we're not as mad as those people that aren't in the community. We're just getting talked over, and we're seen less. That's the thing. Like, it's not pseudomoralism. Oh my God.
Yeah, and also I feel like from my point of view, it doesn't really.
I give an example of pseudomoralism. Follow the conversation.
It doesn't really matter how the clip got brought up. Like, okay, one person with pseudomoralism or whatever you're saying.
No.
White brought up the clip.
That's not what I'm saying, guys. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying that the response was to that. Constantly bringing up the fact that she responded incorrectly, or she didn't have the correct response. She responded with anger.
She did.
The reason why she responded like that was because that tweet, those calls for apology, hold on, were and felt pseudo-moralistic and disingenuous. That's it. That's why I'm.
As a grown
even if they
woman
were
on
disingenuous,
social media,
someone bringing up the fact that they think you said a slur, regardless if they're black or not. If you don't think you said it, then address that. it's perfectly fine.
And
Go
address it
ahead, but
properly.
playing the victim is
But address it
definitely
properly.
She
Address
did.
it
Also,
properly.
how
And
do
address
you
it
think?
properly.
She responded
How do you think?
immediately and said, and she the
Yeah.
where she said that I was singing this.
She responded to the
She
one
responded immediately in the wrong way.
to the wrong. She responded first of all. She responded to the wrong
I'm
video.
sorry
That's
that
not
no
the one
response is
that says
perfect
the
for you
N-word.
guys. I guess responding to it.
Oh my
Listen,
god.
Hold
Oh
on.
my god.
Vordie,
Oh my
be
god.
quiet.
Vordie, who's
Let's
you
not
guys?
talk like
Who's you guys?
Who's you
Yeah.
guys?
Who's you? Are you
Every
talking
single
about black people?
Black people.
one of you that were
oh
like,
my
oh my
god.
gosh, they didn't respond.
Oh, okay, so it's black people. I'm gonna cut you off
So
here
No, because
because I'm not
objectively,
Just got called
appreciative
racial
no, because
slurs.
of
objectively the
a.
response was trash.
Let Naya talk. Let Naya talk.
I'm so sorry. I gotta cut you off here. Here's the thing. Okay, first of all, we have to acknowledge that you, as a white gay man, are not gonna understand the type of response that black people give. Okay, black people, like, if I don't know if you've seen the AAVE clip about Casey and AAVE, but black people are going to be upset and are allowed to be upset about people that think they say the N-word. So and even we all acknowledge that Casey is a troll, so that the way that she responded was going to be in a trollish mindset. So it's not, oh, I'm sorry that anything isn't enough for you guys. No, because it's not enough, because we as black people are sick and tired of white women, victimizing themselves and doing all these things just for them to be like, oh, I didn't do it, and respond negatively to black people. Secondly, I don't know how old you are, but I'm not trying to.
28.
28.
28. Okay, I'm not trying to talk down to you as an adult or whatever. I'm gonna acknowledge that, but don't say you guys. What in the hell? Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah,
please.
definitely remove
Don't
the
do
you
that.
guys
yeah,
from your
maybe
vocabulary
take
when
you
you're
guys
speaking
and
to
y'all out your
us.
mouth
That
right now.
that's not
Like,
even.
just
That's
don't
not
say it
the
in this conversation
so,
right
like,
now.
don't
That's
say
so
you
why we're
guys.
sitting here educating a grown man with internet access.
I
I
fucking
don't
Yeah.
know, but it's giving me something to do on this
If
lovely
nobody
day.
was gonna say